The CBC is learning more about two Canadians involved in the militant attack at an Algerian gas plant last January. The young men were high school friends in London, Ontario, but at some point they became radicalized. Stephen D'Souza joins me live from London, Ontario, where the two young men lived. What have you found out about these two men, Stephen?
We'll start off with their names. Their names are Ali Medlij and Christos Katsarubis. As you mentioned, they grew up here in London, Ontario, high school friends. They went to London South Secondary, and it's in a neighborhood that is basically upper to middle class, a very regular, normal, run-of-the-mill neighborhood. And Christos, we know, lived with his mother after his parents divorced, grew up in a very Greek Orthodox family, and that he was, by all accounts, a very average teenager, but somehow along the way he became radicalized after converting to Islam. Now, Ali, less is known about him. In fact, his picture doesn't even show up in any of the high school yearbooks. But earlier today, I had a chance to catch up with a woman here in London who actually knows the family and whose son went to school with Ali, and she described him and Christos as both very good kids, and saying that Ali came from a very caring and generous family. Now, the woman did not want to be identified, so she agreed to do the interview only if we did not show her face. So let's hear now more of what she had to say.
I think they got in with the wrong crowd, and there's lots of reasons to be angry with things that are going on in the world and feel like you want to correct it, and that just isn't the right way. You can't control your kids, and we can make bad decisions and get confused.
Really, a lot of people here trying to come to terms with how these two young men could have gone so radically off course. Now, we know that in 2007, that's when things started to turn, and in fact, family and friends were concerned to the point where CSIS was actually called in, and they began interviewing family and friends to learn more about what the bizarre behavior that was being shown by these two young men. And when Christos was last seen here in 2009, friends say that he had become increasingly devout and a much different person from when he last was. And of course, 2009 was the last time that the two individuals were seen, and they weren't heard from again until just this year when news came out about that deadly attack in Algeria.
And how are people in the community reacting to all of this?
Well, it's amazing that people here, are just dumbfounded by this story and just trying to come to terms with the fact that somebody who grew up in these streets could end up halfway around the world in a desert in Algeria. I had a chance to speak with some people just to get their thoughts and their reaction to this story. Let's hear now from some people here in London.
They likely knew the consequences of that going in, but their ideals drove them past the point of perhaps no return. Most unfortunate. Again, we have young people, we have old people, we're all making choices. Sometimes we don't make the right choice.
When 9/11 happened and the U.S. went overseas they found that one American guy hunkered down with Al-Qaeda. I mean, if that shocked people at the time, so I guess this shouldn't really shock us at all.
But it is still shocking for many people, and even more shocking is the news that there are potentially two other individuals from London who traveled overseas with Ali and Christos. Now, we don't know what their fate was, if they were involved in the terrorist attack in Algeria, or even if they're still alive. But just the fact that knowing that there could be more here has many questioning just what happened and where these two went wrong.